can't think your way into positive action, but you can always act your way into positive thinking. Have you ever felt really bad internally, or you had these negative thoughts just cycling through your head? Maybe it's the same thought, but it just won't leave. It's just going like this. Maybe you regret something. Maybe it's like, oh, I did this thing and it makes me feel like this. And then you just don't let up. You just keep thinking about it, as if that's gonna somehow solve the problem, as if that's gonna somehow make anything better, as if you're gonna somehow go in the past and change it. You're not. And if you want to change your present, if you want to stop thinking like this, there's only one way, which is you need to start acting different. What you're gonna notice is your mind is most active and it's thinking the most. And you associate yourself with your mind the most when your body is the least active. So really, you want to get into a hard physical workout. That's the idea. You don't have to lift weights. And you don't have to run. You could just do whatever it is that you want to do. Maybe you like playing a sport. Maybe you do like lifting weights, or you do like running. Whatever it is, anything. Even dancing. I used to be a big dancer, actually. And I guess the reason I'm talking about this idea about your thoughts and action and all that is because I remember when I got into approaching, cold approach and all this stuff, pickup. It was crazy. It was like this thing where I remember I would walk around like a mall or like a grocery store, and I couldn't get out of my thoughts. I was just thinking so much about it. It was crazy. I remember I would walk by people, I'd walk by girls. I wanted to maybe say hi to this girl. Maybe she was very attracted to me, whatever. And I just couldn't do it. I was thinking, what if they reject me? What if this happens? What if she has a boyfriend? What if she doesn't want to talk to me? What if her music is playing? I distinctly remember this one time when I was at the mall. And like, I was literally just walking around, trying to find a girl to approach, because this was in the beginning of my journey. So I didn't have really any experience. Super beginner. And I'm walking around this fucking mall in San Francisco. And dude, I felt so weird. I felt so not like myself. And like the more I walked around thinking about it without doing it, the less it became feasible to do it. It doesn't become easier. I remember this one girl came up. I think it was like at some kind of Trader Joe's. And she wasn't even that attractive, but she was somewhat attractive. And I was like, all right, well, there's my opportunity to fucking learn the skill. Because at this mall, there wasn't many women. There honestly wasn't. I was just doing what I can with what I got. I was like, all right, here's my opportunity to learn the skill. So I got near her, and I kind of like hesitated, so I didn't open. And then she moved to a different aisle, and then I moved to that aisle, and then it was like this weird thing. And then at some point, I started feeling like she knows I'm like about to approach her. And then that's always not good. I don't know why. It's just, you know, it's funny. I can barely point my finger as to why it's not good, but I guess it just adds too much anticipation and pressure and uncertainty in the girl. And in you, I guess. But anyways, at some point it just felt weird, and I was like, fuck this, I'm not doing it. Because I was thinking too much. And not doing enough. And that's an imbalance that will cause anxiety. That's an imbalance that's going to cause fear. I mean, that is what fear is. You're thinking so fucking much. How about you live right here in the present moment? I mean, really, you have two options here as to why, as to the causes of your thinking. You have two causations, if that's a word. Causations. Either you're fearing the future, or you regret the past, or you just can't get over the past. Maybe it's regret, maybe it's anger, maybe it's sadness, whatever. But you can't get over the past. The point of this video is to tell you, when you do the correct action, that is when you start to think differently. After you go and work out, that's when you start to think differently. Once I'm halfway into this video, I start to think slightly differently. It starts to come a little bit easier. Once you're deep into that conversation, you're thinking differently. You know what's funny about all these things, the conversation, the video, the workout? That's the idea. You're not even thinking. You're barely thinking. The space between your thoughts grows wider and wider, which is what leads to peace. I would almost argue that is what peace is. It's the space between your thoughts. It's quietness. It's feeling and not thinking. You're thinking too much. It's not going to save you. The action will. And if you don't know what the action is, ask yourself. If it's not physical exercise, how can I be pushing myself right now? How can I be doing something? And worst case scenario, if you don't know anything you can do to better yourself, and this isn't worst case, this is actually the best case. Help somebody out. Give out value somehow. Bring somebody up. This is what's gonna motivate you dramatically. Dramatically, man. I'm telling you, when I get a comment, people saying I helped them out, that shit makes my day. That shit makes me feel great. Because here's the thing about helping people. You realize you don't matter. You realize that I could wake up, I could have a bad day if I really had a bad day. But that doesn't mean I can't help somebody else have a good day, and that's something that's always in my control. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, help somebody out, push yourself in all ways, act in a positive way, and you will think in a positive way. Thinking is not going to solve it. It hasn't solved it ever. And if you catch yourself in a loop, it's okay, brother. It's okay. Let's stop this fucking momentum. Let's start a new momentum. It might be difficult, but hey, you got this, man. We'll talk soon. Peace.